Hey guys, this is Blake from Blake Sectum, retro site for retro games. I'm bringing you an extra special bonus part 3 video to the Babylon 5 Civ 4 mod. This wasn't originally planned. I was just going to do those two videos and leave it at that. However, they're being quite popular and the fan response has been good, and I did mention in one of the videos that I was thinking about doing a bonus video of the endgame stuff when you get all the best ships like the Omegas and the Warlocks and all that kind of stuff. And so I thought, okay, let's go ahead with that. Let's do a special little bonus video. I can show you the all the cool ships and some of the battles and stuff, and cover a few things that I forgot to talk about in the other videos. So if you've happened to come onto this video first and you haven't seen the other ones, then I'll put a link in the top right corner, card link up there to the part 1 video, so you can go back, because in those ones I really talk about the game's mechanics and show you the start game stuff and all the races, choices and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you haven't seen anything before yet, then go check them out first. But for those of you who are continuing from the other ones and want to see all the best sort of end game ships for the Earth Alliance and some of the other stuff, then let's go. So we're going to load up some save games that I've prepared where some cool stuff happened. So we'll start with this one, the Shadow Attack. Okay, now this is sort of in the middle of a turn where I was in the middle of a bit of a crisis. So I'll show you a few things before we get into it. So this is probably not that much further than what you guys would have seen me show you in the part 2 video. I started expanding north in that video, and I was talking about the passageway and putting a starbase there to sort of block off, because I didn't know what was here in the beyond, whether it be the Minbari or sort of several other dangerous races like the Dilgar or something. So as you can see, I ended up doing exactly as I said I would, and I built a starbase to block the passage, which was great because all these pirates were pouring through here. Problem is, of course, I eventually realised that the nebula stops up here, so it wasn't much of a blockade after all, because of course all the pirates just ended up bloody coming up here and coming down. But fortunately they came straight down into the starbase anyway. But yeah, I'd started expanding further north. I think I got about this far in perhaps the last thing I showed you guys. So I started heading up here with the intention of colonizing these systems above the Centauri to try and get to Quantum 40, because Quantum 40 is critical. Without this resource, you are stuck in the dark ages of the future universe, shall we say, because you need this to build like Omegas and Warlocks and all that kind of stuff. Like you're stuck with early Hyperions if you don't get that. So I'm desperately trying to get to it, and the bloody Centauri went on a little colonization spam run and basically just took 2 systems instantly that I was heading towards. My colony ship was literally like right here, like it was 1 square away when they took this one. I was so pissed off. They got an early Primus there, the good old, I'm sure people recognise that from the show. Yeah, I was so irritated, so I had to change my plan. So I eventually discovered that there's some Quantum 40 just over here. There. So the moment I discovered that, everything changed. All my plans changed. So it's not that far from the centre of the galaxy. It's sort of up here where you see all these black holes and supernovas and things. So I had to build this huge convoy and start building. And I think this is the convoy here. Yeah, look at all this. Like a huge convoy of like constructor ships, colony ships, all protected by a I think this is a fan ship, because I don't remember it from the show, but it's a great design because it looks like things we saw in the show. But this is the Avenger, which is an early game carrier, and it can carry quite a few, I can't see on the screen here, but I think it can carry about 4 or 5 bombers or fighters on it. And fighters this is something I didn't show you guys in the first 2 videos, because I hadn't really learned how fighters how versatile they were. You would have seen me using fighters to protect star systems, but I didn't realise that, yeah, you could put them on heaps of the ships. They can patrol around the ships. Like if I set this guy to patrol, and I'll grab something else. Look at that. He literally just flies around the carrier now, and he'll protect him from other fighter attacks, which is really cool. And they also have all these excellent abilities. Like, I was wasting my time sending those little Oracle ships, I think I got one up here, which have, you know, a crappy sight radius. I was just sending them around, slowly exploring the galaxy. Whereas all you got to do is get a ship that can carry fighters, grab a fighter, and these guys have brilliant abilities. Look at this, they can scout all the way out here and uncover a massive area. Look at that, they just uncovered all that with one, you know, that's just in one turn. So they've got a bunch of fighters, you can expose a huge area of the map. And so I just pretty much started abandoning using the oracles and just started sending cap ships out with fighters to do my exploring. And yeah, and they're easy to move around. You just do this rebase and bang, now there's one on the Hyperion and he'll be available to me next turn. As you can see here, the pirates, originally you've just got pirates attacking you and raiders. Well, now you've got the Druck. So this is a Druck raider coming for me. I've already hit him with a bombing run, so he's getting a bit weak. I've got my Hyperions that are closing in just in case the carrier can't get the job done, but it can. It's fine. But I'm just bringing the Hyperion in anyway for all the other unpleasantries heading towards us, because it was like protect the convoy at all costs. And the starbases are really cool. You can put fighters on them. I think they can carry, let me see, cargo space 0/4. So yeah, they can carry about 4 fighters on them. This is a beta starbase, which is the second to worst starbase. I think there's another upgrade coming after this to make it into a full starbase, which is very powerful. And yeah, what else? I suppose we'll get to the main reason I loaded this game, the shadow attacks. I'll show you my capital here. As you can see, I've loaded it with stuff which I'll get to in a sec, but this is what the system looks like. It's probably a bit more developed than when you guys last saw it. Lots of buildings on each of the planets throughout the system. Very heavily developed. So I'm busy doing stuff, building more defences there. More of the defense turret things. There's 3 different versions of them. One of them I think looks just like the ones we saw in when President Clark ordered Scorched Earth in Season 4, and Sheridan's fleet had to take them down. And then there's 2 other designs that are pretty similar as well. So these are pretty cool when they unleash hell on nearby enemies. So let's get to the good stuff then. Look at this. This was a shadow attack. So this game, some interesting things start to happen because they start to utilise Civ 4's mechanics, which has some really great stuff, like quests. You can get some quests to do certain things, and you get these big special attacks that are much bigger than a standard raider attack, and this is one of them when the shadows came after me. So this is the fleet here, and look at that. There's bloody 6 of them, and their strength is 60. Now just to give you some comparison here, look at this. This is a Hyperion. Its strength is 21. This is an early Hyperion. Its strength is 21. So these guys are almost bloody like, you know, 3 times the strength, which is terrifying. Like the best human ships that you get later on, like the Command Omegas and the Warlocks and some other fan-made ships, they're all in like the 30s. So they're still only sort of half the strength of a shadow ship. So this was terrible. I thought there was a game over when this happened. I thought, how am I going to get out of this mess? Because the defense turrets, they're only strength 4. And yes, they have a 200% city defense bonus, but you know that doesn't mean jack when the thing's only strength 4 against something like this. So they steamrolled me, took my capital, and I just went, well, stuff this, and loaded up an early save and thought, how am I going to change things? So I eventually realised that if I moved every fighter in my entire empire practically, other than what you saw in that carrier over there, over to my capital to defend it, I'd be able to hopefully, as Janeway and Voyager said, they're pecking us to death. Basically peck this thing to death and try and bring these guys down. And fortunately, because I don't have Quantum 40, I don't have the best ships in the game. Like, as you can see, some of the good stuff's blocked out here. Like, we've got Omegas and, like, I haven't got much else yet. We've got, there's a normal Hyperion, a Nova, upgraded Avenger there. Like, you know, stronger ships are just starting to become available to me tech-wise, but I can't build them because I don't have Quantum 40. But fortunately, the best fighter in the game, the Thunderbolt, doesn't require Quantum 40. So I got the best fighter in the game. They're about strength 12. So what I did was I just kept doing bombing runs. So this option here, airstrike mode. I went for it, and look at that. does about 15% damage to one of the ships, does collateral damage to 3 other ships. So let's go look at the stack. See that? Now it's like 60, 51. That was a good strike on that one. 58, 58, 60, 58. So as you can imagine, all those fighters I've got down here, because I moved almost all of them from my entire empire. All my other star systems don't have any fighters in them now, just to get enough to bring these guys down. And I won't show it because it takes forever, but basically I just kept doing bombing runs until I got them down to about sort of 3 or 5 strength, and then I sent the Hyperion out and blasted them. So it was what I thought was a game-ending moment there. I fortunately eventually figured out a way around. So if you're playing this game, guys, and it happens to you, that's how you get out of it. So I think there's not much else I was going to show with this particular save. Let's get to some battles, like some real exciting battles. So we'll go load another save game. Okay guys, so this is a bit later on. My convoy started colonizing stuff. I got my hands on the Quantum 40 over here, so I can show you the, as you can see, starbase and mines and lots of bad stuff coming out of the center of the galaxy towards me, and I'm fending it off with my Hyperion and the starbase. And I think I've probably got full starbase now, strength 40, they're pretty strong, carry 5 fighters as well, so they're very useful. As you can see, the convoy made it, built a big road that attaches the Quantum 40 to my empire, and I've got a few ships moving around, like a Nova here, pretty cool. I'll show you more of them in a minute. A nice little raider carrier nearby that ship too. But hang on, we'll go back to, yeah, so the point of this save game is to show you guys an Omega. So now that I've got Omega Quantum 40, I'm able to build some more of the cool ships. Now, unfortunately, the Omega ended up being a bit of a disappointment, because look at its health. Its strength. It's only 19 strength, so it's actually weaker than an early Hyperion, let alone the upgraded Hyperion. So I think there needs to be some rebalancing. Like if the unit strengths are hard-coded into the game, which I think they are, then just swap this with something else. Get one of the fan-made ships and just switch it with this one. But also the model isn't quite right. Look how small it is. It just sort of fits in the circle, and it looks really skinny and tiny, especially compared to these Drak Raiders. So, but anyway, it's so that's a bit of a disappointment. I'll still show you it in action though. So it's got some cool beam weapons. Look at that, see the beams coming out of the front launchers there. So that one's pretty cool, because I was a bit worried, because when I was talking with the mod, the creator, he was saying the beam weapons weren't working properly, so I'm relieved to see that they actually are. The Drak are firing beams, Omegas are firing beams, that appears to be fine. So yeah, I think there's not much else with this save game. The really cool stuff's coming up. The other thing I suppose I should cover is that I forgot in showing you my other videos was also just the techs in that. I think I showed you guys the tech tree here, but what I didn't show you was once you get a tech, you get some like really cool stuff from the show. Like I don't think I can access that kind of stuff at the moment, but yeah, it doesn't give me the text. But when you get one of these texts, you actually get, I think in the original Civ 4 game you had like Leonard Nimoy reading out whatever the technology was to you, which was really cool. So in this one, they've changed it so you've got Babylon 5 quotes for each technology, and generally it's appropriate for whatever that tech is. And you know, there's some really great ones, just great character moments. We can hear Jakar and Londo speaking, or Sheridan. There's funny ones too, like there was a great one where it was taken from Crusade, I think, when you got the data management or security tech, I think it was, and you get Captain Gideon talking about finding Snow White and the 7 Narns, and who's his little Pakmara like pawn stuff on Edison's data crystal, because Edison gave him a report and forgot to delete some of his little recreational viewing activities off there, and of course Gideon used it to blackmail him because Edison was being such a problem on the show. So I love that, you know, stuff like that just makes you laugh and takes you straight back to the show and the days of watching it, which was awesome. But anyway, let's get to the next exciting, because I've got some really good stuff, like the Nova firing is probably my favourite one, so I reckon that's probably coming up next. Yes. Okay guys, here we go. This is probably my favourite ship to see firing, because I mean, you know, even though the Nova, whenever we saw one, it was generally getting carved up by the Minbari fleet. It looked cool because it's just covered in guns. So many guns. I mean, it's got like 4 on each side of the front, and then of course it's got all the ones on the top and bottom and sides. It was just ridiculous. So I mean, obviously in a game like this where you've only seen sort of frontal firing, you don't get to see all the side ones firing, but the frontal ones are enough. I mean, there's friggin' 8 of them, and you get to see them firing, and it looks awesome. So I'm going to attack these Drak, what are these, Drak Raiders again. So let's go blast them. Look at that. Look at them all firing. So I just blasted that. Is there anything else interesting happening in this save? Oh, we've also got a Commander Omega ready to fire. So this is a good way to show that problem with the original Omega. So, you know, this is sort of, yeah, what I sort of find a bit annoying, that the original Omega was kind of overlooked and just chucked on as some weak unit. And then to get a good Omega, you've got to build this fan-made Command Omega, which, you know, is basically just got some extra rotating sections and presumably some weapon upgrades or whatever. But, you know, you look at this, right? Here's the that Omega still up here. Like, if I tell it to go down, it's in a similar position. See how it just sort of fits in the circle? And then you go to this one, and it's, what, you know, much bigger. Look how it's sticking out. So that's what the other Omega should be in size. So it's just strange, because presumably it's the same, it was derived from the same model, so I don't really understand why there's that size thing. It might be possible, maybe it's because the model sizes are also hard-coded into Civ and they had to make do with whatever they replaced in the original game. I'm not sure of why that's happened. Maybe it was just an accident. But I mean, that's not the fault of the mod owner, because he didn't create the models. Someone else did that. So, and I think that guy abandoned doing any more years ago. So sadly, there's not much we can do about that now, I think, unless someone else volunteers to help out. But anyway, yes, this is the Command Omega, and it's 31 strength. So this is a very strong unit. And the other thing that bugs me about that is, look at this. Nearby we've got a cool Warlock here, the first Warlock. So I'll show you this in action in another save game. But look at this, I've got a Warlock here with a fighter, Thunderbolt fighter patrol. Warlock looks really cool. And but it's, you know, 29 strength. And that bugs me that there's this fan sort of made Command Omega that's actually stronger than a Warlock, because personally I think that when you get to towards the end game stuff and you want to be rocking the best Earth Force units, that should be a Warlock. I mean, I get that many fans out there have a soft spot for the Omega. I do too, I love it. But, you know, I get the feeling the guy behind these models was just such an Omega fan that he was like, oh no, I'm not going to make the Warlock the best unit, I'm just going to make an enhanced Omega and make that the sort of one of the best units for most of the game. And that, you know, I mean, if you're someone who thinks that that was the best way to go, then feel free to say in the comments your reasons why. But I personally, I don't feel it is. I think, I mean, let's face it, the Omega was already, you know, they started building them just after the Earth Minbari War, which means they were roughly 10 years old when the Babylon 5 show was starting. And, you know, Warlocks came in around the end of Season 4, Season 5 mark. So basically, by that stage, Omegas are like 15 years oldish. And, you know, I just think that even if you want to slap on some fancier guns and retrofit and upgrade an old Omega to a better ship, it still surely isn't going to be comparable to the brand new Destroyer. So, you know, I think the Warlock should be stronger than the Command Omega. That's my opinion on that. But anyway, whinging aside, let's get to the exciting part. So with this particular one, it does pulse fire. They haven't gone for the beams, so that one's it looks pretty cool. And I think that's everything I want to show from this save game. There's not been anything else exciting happening here, is there? Nope. So let's get to the next one, which I think is the Warlock. Well, this is a save where there's obviously a bit of action happening. What's this? I got a few people ready to fire. So here we go. This is the primary reason I got this save game here. Beautiful Warlock, once again with some Thunderbolts protecting it. About to blast some Raiders guarding some treasure. So let's do it. Now, I reckon the Warlock has probably my favourite weapons fire in the game, because it's a beautiful combo. The model maker and who configured all this has got it perfect with this one, because the main beam weapons fire and the front cannons fire. So you've got a nice combo pulse and beam thing. So let's do this. Look at that. Beams and the two front cannons here are firing the pulses out. Bang. Beautiful. So, you know, and so that makes me think, well, shit, you know, it's a pity they didn't do that with the other models, you know, because you've got here an Omega that just fires beams and no pulses. You've got that Command Omega that only fires pulses and no beams. The Nova, well, that should stay pulses, because I think that's non-beam weapon era of the Earth Force. I assume they got it from the Narns. They certainly implied it in the prequel movie. So yeah, that was another sort of, I feel like, a bit of a missed opportunity there, but nevertheless, it just makes the Warlock even cooler. It makes you want to use it even though it's slightly weaker than the Commando Maker, because honestly, I've not really had anything that could threaten a Warlock anyway come at me, other than those shadow ships, which we saw how I dealt with them. I just picked them to death. So anyway, let's just do some more action stuff. I mean, you've already seen this, but it's here, so let's fire. Bang. It's so small. Really bugs me. And we've got another Nova battle. I think this one's pretty cool because I'll put it over the nebula. It looks all cool with the sort of, it looks all, you know, the nice silhouetted dark, badass Nova look. We'll unleash hell. There goes another raider. I think that's it for that save game. So with this one, it's an end of turn. So oh, and that reminds me, I've got to show you. I started building some of the other ships the game has as like patrol ships. So this is a Artemis sort of like frigate. I think it's another fan-made ship. It does look like a ship we saw in the show, but that's the Olympus, which I think I've got one just down here. I think, yeah, here it is. So fans might recognise this. I can't remember when one cropped up in any seasons of Babylon 5, but I do remember it in the prequel film, charging towards the Minbari and getting blasted out of the sky. So yeah, that's was it? Yeah, Olympus little frigate thingo. It's got a little fighter launcher there at the front, but yeah, pretty useless ship. So I just put it in patrol, much like with those weak Omegas. Anyway, oh, and I started giving some of my ships patrol fighters as well, just to help them out a bit. So we'll get in nice and close because I want to show you some cool battles here. So we're going to get end of turn because there's some good action here. So I think my Warlock and a few other things get attacked as well. But the main highlight, the reason I'm loading the save game, is not this. This Nova is just taking one guy down by this black hole, which is quite scenic. But I've got another Nova that stepped on a treasure, and normally you get good stuff, but occasionally you get bad stuff, and he's completely surrounded by pirates. I think I'd already blasted a couple of them, and now the rest are going after him. So this should be a pretty action-packed moment. There's some Druk and Raiders are all pouring in from the centre of the galaxy. Oh, here we go. Look at this. So now you get to see all the angles of a Nova. Should have zoomed in a bit closer, I thought I had. No. And they're not even really denting him, he's a pretty strong ship. One to go. There's that nice thunderbolt flying around the Nova as well. Get off my road. Well, there you go, there's my Warlock. An asteroid belt, a couple of thunderbolts protecting him as well. I'll just skip this stuff. Now this is a cool Commando Mega battle again, but you're probably thinking, why is he showing another one? Well, it's because of the opponent. Look at that. This is probably other than those freak shadow attacks, when it comes to things just appearing on the map from the centre of the galaxy and charging in, this is probably the strongest thing you'll come at. A Streeb Collector ship, and it's 29 strength, so that's stronger than a lot of the ships I have. It takes only my best ships to basically be able to stop this thing. So I've already taken a fighter shot at him just to weaken him a bit. And now people are probably thinking, what's this ship from? I don't remember it. Or they're like, it's familiar, but I can't remember where. Well, this ship, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I just think from the design, I'm pretty sure this is the ship that was in that season, was it 2 or 3-ish? Probably 2, I think, where Sheridan gets kidnapped. I think his squadron gets blasted, and then he gets kidnapped by these aliens who start doing tests on him, and then chucking him in in an arena kind of situation with a Narn prisoner, and making them fight each other and stuff, and eventually, of course, they team up and help to escape once Delenn and a bigger Earth Force Omega ship shows up to kick ass. And I think that Narn went on to be Jakar's replacement in later seasons. I can't remember his name though. But yeah, so they've managed to put one of those ships in this game, which is pretty cool. So we'll blast it now. Our Commando Omega. Yeah, definitely would benefit from big weapons. Firing at the same time. And we've got a Commando Omega here. What's this? Oh, this is a Druk Destroyer, so that's 14 strength. That's quite a bit stronger than those Raiders. So things are heating up. You know, you're getting some nasty things coming in and going for you. I've already softened him up a bit, which should be enough for the Omega to finish the job. So I think that's it for this save game. Alrighty. Now this is a fan-made ship, the Poseidon, and which is an interesting name because it always makes you think of that movie, doesn't it? With the was it the ship that flips over or whatever? The disaster ship. It's an interesting design actually for a fan ship, isn't it? It's got the rotating sections. It's basically sort of a mid to high level carrier, so it's sort of a good replacement for that Avenger ship I showed you earlier. I think there's another kind of carrier ship that comes later on in the game as well. But look at that, I can carry, what was it? I've got 1 of 9 bomber slots taken up, so you know, it can carry a lot. So right now I've just got it in system defense, but it's not really meant for, you know, frontal attacks. You're just meant to launch lots of fighters from it to kill your enemies, but it's strong enough to take down these raiders, so we'll go for it. And I also quite like the way it fires. It's simple, but it reminds me, I find that other than the rotating section, the ship design and the way it fires and stuff really reminds me of a little show from the 90s called Space Above and Beyond. I don't know if any of you fans out there of Babylon 5 know that show as well, because if you haven't seen it, I suggest you check it out, because it was very similar to Babylon 5 in that it was dark and that it was all about carriers and bombers and troops and stuff, and it was just a great show. It just sucks that it never got past to season 1. It was really good, made by the X-Files creators. And yeah, this really reminds me of one of the carriers from that show, other than the rotating stuff. But yeah, the reason why there's still a Drak Raider there is because there was a whole stack of them, so basically all I did was take out one of them. I think this was actually a big Drak Raider attack, the special event style attack, and so I'd already blasted them a bit. And I think he's out of range, sadly. I can't show off a starbase firing at the moment, but yeah. In fact, I think I should have, probably I missed a chance to show you guys the starbase firing in the other game, but well, the starbase firing isn't that exciting. I mean, I can have a go here. Let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. I can show you guys. All is not lost. Let's shoot at these guys. I like the blast, but the weapons fire is not that exciting. It sort of jerks strangely, then it fires like a little tiny green beam that disappears, but the explosion is epic. Look at that shockwave. It's like a nuke going off. And that's another thing I should have ended up doing to show you guys. You can actually build nukes, because you know, it is Civ, of course, so you can build nukes and go nuke solar systems and stuff, but I never ended up at war with anyone, so I never got a chance to use them. I suppose I could have used a nuke on a raider. That would have been a bit of overkill, would have been entertaining overkill, but well. So I think I've only got 1 or 2 things I want to show you now. So, it looks like this is sort of a middle of a term where there was lots of stuff happening. Busy working away, but I want to show you what's happening up here near Delphi. I got some white stars. So to get this I had to go through quite a bit of an ordeal. You have to adopt some more of the game's religions to get to, let me see, we'll go up here and I'll show you what I mean. So I was originally just revering the first ones, but you need to start adopting some of the other religions, and I couldn't seem to activate them because the computer wasn't researching them, and I got them first before anyone anyway, but the game didn't seem to be letting me, so I had to hop into the world builder to unlock them, sadly. Which annoys me because I'm not someone who normally cheats in a game, but if I feel I'm being sort of prevented due to the game's bugs or limitations, I will sort of play around with it. And plus I just wanted to show you guys the cooler stuff, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without doing this, because you need to get onto sort of like Unity and Order and stuff like that to get access to the Ranger School, which then gets you sort of onto the White Stars, and then finally I think you got to, yeah, I think Unity is what gets you to all the ISA stuff, and of course the ISA Victory Excalibur sort of ship. You've got to get those religions to get that, and I'm mostly first ones, but I've converted some systems over to the other religions now to get all the good stuff. And sadly, you know, Chaos doesn't get your hands on any shadow ships or anything like that, but it does give you some interesting bonuses, and the hand is really great for business stuff, which those guys are from the was it that Ranger film that sadly never took off into a series. They were going to be the new super villain, I think, the hand. But anyway, so yeah, by utilising that stuff, it allowed me to get my hands on some white stars. So I can show you these guys in action. I'm pretty sure, it's hard to tell, but I think they're similar to the Warlock in that they've got the nice optimised beam and pulse fire, which is great because that's what they were doing in the show as well. So I'll show you what I mean. Bang, yep, now that's definitely firing, yeah. Firing beams and pulses. The only thing that's a bit of a pity is that you notice how only one ship was firing out of these two, and also their engines overlap, so that's a bit of a pity. But otherwise the model looks very cool. It's nice to be unleashing them on enemies. They're about 20 health, so you know they're predictably, you know, because they're a smaller class of ship, they're not quite in the range of a Warlock and Omega. They're Command Omegas and things like that, but they're more than enough to blast any sort of raider or mid-range ship. And of course, a couple of them can be a real threat to a cap ship, much like in the show. So yeah, there was. Is there anything else I was going to show in this one? Whitestar. Yeah. No, I think that's it for this safe. Here's my. Look at that. ISA victory. So to get this, I had to go through quite a lot of stuff, as I was saying in the other save game. I had to sort of cheat my way to get these special bloody buildings just to get this stuff, because I couldn't access it normally. Because I found out that, in fact, I'll show you, before I show you the game in action, I'll show you that, let me see, I'm building them over in this system, Signet. I couldn't get access to the Babylon station or the ISA headquarters until I got into the world builder, because the ISA headquarters, as I was saying before, needed certain religion stuff, and the Babylon station has this even more ridiculous requirement where it says you must have 3 teams, which basically means sort of, I think you've got to have 3 different alliances separate from one another, and I'm not sure if it's even possible to make that happen in the regular sandbox game. The mod creator, when I asked him about it, said you need to start a new game with set teams, which is an option. If you go to the new game things, there's a special option where you can set more parameters, and you've got to set basically a chaos team and a order team, and, you know, basically people with shadow faith and Vorlon faith and that kind of stuff. And first one's faith, perhaps, or a hand or someone. And once you've got your 3 sort of alliances, you can then get access to the Babylon station. But I thought, you know, that not everyone wants to start these team matches. They want to just have a sandbox game and let you carve your own way through alliances and peace treaties and things. So it makes it practically impossible to get the Babylon station. So I had to use the world builder to get that. And sadly, I was hoping the Babylon station would then appear, and it hasn't. It's not orbiting this system. And I've seen screenshots of Babylon 5 in the game, which in fact, you know, and unfortunately I wasn't able to recreate that, so I'll just have to show you the picture that I saw. I'll do that now. And as you can see, it's you know, it looked pretty cool. It appears to be orbiting a system. So when I asked the mod creator about it, he reckons that the guy who did all the models and stuff possibly didn't give him Babylon 5, or if he did, it's not implemented properly. So that's a bit of a shame, because we're playing a Babylon 5 mod without Babylon 5. But I guess the good thing about Babylon 5 is that it's such a rich universe with so many amazing characters, races, and ships that you can have a Babylon 5 game without Babylon 5 and it's still bloody amazing, you know, because I've been having a ball. I've been addicted to this for like 2 months now or something, and you know, it's a shame, but it doesn't matter that much. But anyway, once I got those special buildings, it gave me access to all the sort of some of the final endgame ships, including the ISA Victory there. And as you can see, it's 54 strength, so it's nearly as strong as a shadow ship. And we're going to unleash it on these, what are these guys? Some Drak Raiders, so we'll blast them out of the sky. Look at that, just like in the show, it's firing out forward cannons. Very nice. Nice engines, looks good. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else exciting. Oh yes, there is. There's one other thing I want to show you guys. Just one of the fan-made ships. At the end of the game, you can get access to some, as you probably saw in that system. In fact, if I hop in here for a sec, there's a few more ships you now can get. What have I got here? There's a Narcissus, which is like basically a cruiser sort of level fan-made in sort of Warlock era unit. You've got, what else have we got here? There's a Hyperion Tempest, which is a low-level sort of simple destroyer. I think that's the problem with the Omega. They use the Final Frontier Civ mod destroyer class and replace that with, you know, the destroyer class from Babylon 5. But Babylon 5 was always different to the norm in that destroyers, yet they were the biggest battleships. So you know, that's the problem when you any sort of other universe out there, and in the real world, a destroyer is just a small sort of, you know, tiny ship protecting the big ships. So I think that's how we got into this problem here with the ship sizes, possibly. But anyway, what else? There's our beautiful Warlock, the Commando, and then this ship, Nike. I mean, what the hell is a strange name? But that appears to be the strongest Earth Alliance battleship you can build. Yeah, obviously you have to get into the ISA stuff to get the better stuff, but And there's of course the two characters. That's right, that is it turns out that Poseidon is the best carrier, but the Nike ship's pretty cool, so I'll show you that in action. It's almost like say a Warlock era, because you can tell from the armor pattern, a Warlock era Nova, say, because it's just bristling with guns, and you'll see them firing here. So we'll go get this guy. Look at that, very nice. Beautiful. Alrighty, so I think that's pretty much it. I'm just going to show you one more thing now. So this is it. This is the end game. This was my final save game before completing the game, and I decided to go for sort of, well, not really a tech victory. It's more of a remember Civ players in general will remember that you could have the spaceship victory. Of course, we're already in space now, so we need something else, and that is to build this super galactic gate thing. So I'll show you in the text. Get to the final sort of ships here: living ships, organic technology, all that kind of stuff, planet killer weapons, and here we go. That's when you get the basically the nuke from Civ, the Doomsday missile, which can destroy systems, and some wonders. And then here we go. Unfortunately, the text isn't set up yet. It just has this sort of default stuff in there, but basically it's an astral gate. If you build that, you can win the game. So I decided to go for that simply because I'd been fighting just endless waves of pirates and Druk and shadows and stuff for the whole game. I was all battled out, so the thought of having to slowly conquer this whole galaxy, I was just like, ugh, I can't be stuffed. I mean, maybe I'll come back to it one day and do it that way, but at the moment, I think I'm happy with I just wanted to experience all the ships, all the buildings and techs, and just experience everything the game had to offer. And I've already had enough conflict, I think. But I'll show you. As you can see, look at this mini map here. I've pretty much uncovered the whole map by trading with the alien races to reveal their stuff, and also those who refused to trade with me, I just sent a carrier over there and used fighters to explore their territory. So I can show you that, though, the diplomacy, because I've met all the races. That is not diplomacy, Daniel. That is the religion, and we want this one. Here we go. So as you can see, I've met everyone. I got some nice open border treaties with people. Most people are like me. I've been bribing a few people. Minbari don't think much of me, and the Dilgar don't think much of me. Surprise, surprise. Everyone else seems pretty happy with me though. And you can click on these guys and talk to them. Okay, maybe not on this screen. So what do? I thought I could do it from there. Maybe I was hitting the wrong button, because I know if I click here, if I go. Oh, finally. Jesus, Daniel. So you can talk to them here, and you can trade stuff, star charts, make a pact, and have some alliances. You can exchange money, technologies, all the good stuff. Because I couldn't show you guys this in my earlier parts, because you actually have to discover the technologies, all these like diplomacy technologies, to give you the ability to exchange all this stuff. So, which is actually a bit of a shame, because they were so late in the game that I found, like, by the time I was able to trade techs with the aliens, I almost had all the techs in the game, and they had nothing they could offer me. So that was slightly disappointing as well, because I enjoy tech trading in Master of Orion and Civ and all those kind of games. It's something I use to try and get an edge. Manipulate all the races into helping me instead of themselves. So yeah, that was a slight disappointment, but still kind of cool that you can still got all these options in the game, at least at some point. So I'll show you around. I mean, in the end, my big convoy expanse to the west resulted in me running into someone eventually, and that was the Dilgar. They're over here. They got a reasonable sized empire here, not too bad. So I started fortifying. I took the systems next to them, started building star bases. I got someone there underneath that Nike ship there, I think, or a Warlock or something I had there. Got some star bases here, so I'm just building up, and yeah, that was pretty good of them. Probably the strongest computer player, in fact it is, I can tell from the thing here. The Brakiri, guys might remember them from the show. They had the big green ships. They have got a pretty good empire over here, and that's right, that reminds me, I think there was an alien ship. I want to show you guys a few alien ships if I can. There it is. What's that? That is a Jadur, so that's a Dilgar ship keeping an eye on my activities, clearly. And what do we got up here? There's these, I think, are the League Aggressive. player. So that's these guys. I vaguely remember from the show. And oh yeah, and I forgot to say hello to the Brachiri. There you go. I'm sure you guys will remember them now if you didn't before. They were often picked on by the Centauri, and also obviously had a rather important part in the alliance against the Shadows. And up here we've got the sort of the neutral league race, which you guys might remember as the Carrion Eaters. They love their dead bodies. And what do we got here? Ah, yes, of course, this is something I was really excited about, meeting the Minbari. But in the end, sadly, in this particular game, they ended up being a bit dumb. They've only got 3 systems, they just didn't really do much. So I'm sure if I started a new game, different galaxy, up the difficulty settings, I'd have a far more dangerous Minbari player. And it was quite funny because I was exploring their territory and I stepped on this system, not expecting any treasure, because it's in the middle of the Minbari Empire. I half expected that they would have already... Well, almost completely expected that they had already scouted this system, but they hadn't. So I got a free system, because you can get all sorts of different treasure items from entering a system that no one's been in before. And one of the rare ones is, hey, we'll colonise this system, our people will join you. And so I got this system right in the middle of their empire, and I almost was thinking, do I reload the save or do I just keep this? And I decided to keep it. I brought up a Hyperion, one of my max upgraded Hyperions, to protect the area, just in case these guys get any ideas. They wouldn't stand a chance against me anyway, like the city system defences anyway, but you know, just for a bit of overkill. I didn't have anything for him to do anyway. And then over here we've got the Pacifist League. They've got a decent sized empire. They are these guys, Fashar. And finally, my good old buddy, the Centauri Republic, of course, as you may recall, cock-blocked me to Quantum 40 up here. And the annoying thing is, they never did anything after that, the bastards. Like, they stopped me from taking these systems and getting easy access to Quantum 40, resulting in me having to do that whole Western convoy thing. And then they just stopped, and they built heaps of colony ships, but they just, I don't know whether they got killed by pirates or what, but they just, that was it, they just stopped. So that was a bit of a shame. They got my way and then gave up. But oh, you know, it was fun building the convoy and colonising all this part of the galaxy. Oh, in the centre of the galaxy, it'll drop my frame rate because I haven't got a proper graphics card. I've just got an Intel 4000 on the CPU powering all this, which has been embarrassing, but what can I say? I'm a retro gamer and I'm holding off on getting a graphics card until I play something good, but so something new. So you can see there's lots of like black holes and supernovas and things in the centre of the galaxy. It's a pretty dangerous place, crammed full of Draken pirates. But yeah, so that's I think that's everything I was going to show, really. I think I'll hit end of turn and build the Astral Gate and show you the end game, and it plays this cool animation of everyone's expansion, which I've just sort of given you the tour of. So we'll hit end of turn. Daniel wins a space race victory. That's nice, good on you and your diplomatic dinner. I won the game. That's nice of the Centauri to help me. There we go. Da 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 da. Put the speed up to max and play. This is a nice little, I love this thing in Civ 4. You can watch the expansion, conquering of the galaxy. So of course this is me here in the bottom corner. So we're sort of getting to that period when I was doing those part 1 and 2 videos that I showed you guys. You know, I had no idea what was out here. I'd only met the Centauri up here. I was sort of sneaking into this area, just going, I don't know what's out here, what's going to happen, and I didn't realise how close I was to the Dilgar until I was practically on top of them way later in the game. And because I was just constantly getting hit by pirates. They were just pouring out of the centre of the galaxy and coming through that passage there. But yeah, they're look at the Brachiri. They were doing pretty well. And there actually were a few wars that I could see between the races, but they weren't really doing much to each other. And I think another bug I noticed is that the AIs don't appear to be utilising fighters. They're just moving destroyers and stuff around and just using, you know, ship-to-ship attacks and not bothering to deploy fighter squads, which is another bit of a shame. I think it would. I mean, the mod creator behind this has said, his skill set is more just playing around with the not XML files or whatever the configuration files are in Civ, and just playing around with things. He hasn't got any programming skills, and he's not an artist or knows how to play with the Civ 4 mods. So he had outside help, but sadly those people abandoned the project and just sort of left him to it. So if you've got good graphic skills, or you reckon the Civ 4 modding pack creator thingo software would be easy for you to master, and you're a big Babylon 5 fan, feel free to go and help this guy. He needs your help. And if you're a C++ programmer, apparently that's what you need to do to really get into this game. So I think if he had a programmer in his team, he'd be able to conquer some of those AI issues and stuff. But his hands are a bit tied at the moment, because sadly he's just not getting the help he deserves, which is frustrating for me to watch, because all I can do is do a pretty video and a website tribute and go, hey, I love your work, mate, and then give him a list of all the bugs I found. But I can't actually help him. I don't have the skills. I'm not a programmer, and I'm not a particularly great artist. Well, that's it. As you can see, that was the final thing. I'd lots of influence across the galaxy. I'd been doing a pretty good job. I pretty much had a quarter, almost, of the galaxy by the end of it all under my control, whether it be influence or at least military control, because of course I had ships all around like a ring sort of around my entire empire. So it was a fun game. So we'll go to the next screen, and you can see I was just a bit above everyone else. I should point out, I think I played this on not the easiest one. I think I just had it on, what is it, Chieftain or whatever. Or is Chieftain the easiest? So maybe Warlord. I think Chieftain's the easiest. So yeah, I think I must have been on Warlord equivalent, because I hadn't played Civ in so many years, and I just I thought because I had no experience with the space mods either for Civ, so I thought let's just play it safe, and I kicked ass. But I tell you what, the pirates really gave me a run for my money. That was relentless. You're just constantly under attack. So got that. Just everything's going fine there. I never did much with the espionage. I didn't really get how that worked, actually. Maybe one of the Civ 4 veterans can tell me how the hell that works, because I see all these spy bonuses and buildings, but I never got any signs of people doing spy stuff to me. I never saw any options to do spy stuff to them. I mean, that's the thing. Oh yeah, there is that option up there. I just never did anything with it, so I should have had a look at that at some point. Oh, my fault. What else? Demographics, stats. Yeah, looking pretty good. I got all the top cities, of course, because I packed them full of wonders and things. Vega was the holy city of the first ones, which was my primary religion. Statistics. It's not that exciting stuff here, just buildings and units I built and lost and things. Mining outposts. Exit. I think there's one more thing here to do with the score. Daniel/Sheridan is right up the top there. Augustus Caesar. So you can see I've already completed the game once before. This is only the second time loading the save game and hitting end of turn. But yeah, I got the space race victory. This is what happens when you retire. You actually get some really cool music in the Babylon 5 game when you do an early retirement. It's like the sad sort of you're dead music, which is pretty cool. Oh, and I should point out, I forgot to put this disclaimer at the start of the video, but if you're wondering what's going on with the music, this is not the mod's music. Like I said in the part 1 and 2 videos, this is just some MIDI files I'm playing, because the real music in this mod triggers the YouTube copyright, so I'm sorry about that, guys. Wait, just one more turn. I'm going to hit that just so I can show you the Astral Gate. It's floating above my capital and looks pretty cool. Just got to wait for these guys to hurry up. And then that'll be it. I think the last thing I want to say is, as I show you that, is simply, I'm very passionate about these mods, and I hope to do more videos of Babylon 5 mods in the future, because there's some great ones out there, like the one for X3 Terran Conflict. It's like the ships look more realistic than they did in the show in that one, and just really, it's just some really great. There's a Galactic Civilizations one out there. People are making ones for Stellaris. I mean, there's just great mods, and I love this stuff because it keeps the show alive. Players of those games, players of Civ, players of Stellaris, and things like that, hear about this mod, and people getting excited about it, and they try it out. And maybe it's only because they only ever saw a couple of episodes, and they go, geez, this is really great. I should watch that whole show, and then they'll go buy like the DVD box set, or subscribe to one of the stations that has it. It keeps the show alive, and actually eventually can bring money, into the franchise, and it's one of those things that just, something I'm pretty passionate about and I believe in. So it's I want to do my bit to try and show some of this great work to the world, because there's plenty of Babylon 5 fans out there who don't know about these amazing mods, and then there's plenty of new fans that can be made by discovering these mods and rediscovering or discovering for the first time Babylon 5, the universe and the show. Look at that. There's the astral gate built above my capital. Looks pretty badass. And sadly, the other thing missing I've seen in earlier screenshots that I've been able to recreate was Stargates. Not Stargates. God, wrong franchise, Daniel. Jump gates. I saw screenshots of jump gates being built near systems, but I can't seem to do that. All I can do is grab a capital ship and open its own jump thing. So if I go here, open a jump point, you can do that, and then you can put units into that jump point and then jump them to wherever you want them to be. Some ships have their own inbuilt jump engine, which just allows them to let me see if I grab someone. Where's a good ship? Is that the ISA Victory there? Nah, he hasn't got the option. Sometimes they get an option to do their own internal jump, but that one there is to build a big jump point that allows multiple ships to jump through, which is kind of cool. But yeah, sadly no jump gates though, so that was a bit of a disappointment. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to show you guys. It's it's been fun playing this mod, and I'm at the end of the journey now. It's been a fun couple of months. I'm going to get on with some other things, do some more videos of things, and yeah, I hope you guys, for anyone who has stuck around for this video, I hope you enjoyed it. That's it, guys. Thanks. Bye.
You